They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they want you.
Come on, for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
It is a known fact that corruption is presently one of Nigeria's most daunting challenges. Some of its effects include insecurity, poverty, unemployment, high level of crime, brain drain, inadequate infrastructure, youth restiveness, and so on. Its effects are manifested in every facet of our life as a nation. However, for ICPC to successfully execute its mandate, it requires conducive working environment, modern equipment, necessary personnel, and adequate budgetary allocation from the government. Our focus for today is on legislative oversight function and the fight against corruption. Welcome to Corruption Must Go, ICPC's weekly television program. I am Hawa Garba. We bring you stories on anti-corruption, ethics and values, drama, and more.
Welcome to this segment on anti-corruption stories. I am Ruth Awudi. A Lagos High Court sitting at Igboshere has sentenced a woman, Mrs. Philomena Uwanore, to 22 years in prison for falsification of documents. The convict was arraigned alongside Mrs. Adeline Ifeinwa Eke Alu by ICPC on a 5-count charge of conspiracy and submission of falsified traveling documents to the Indian High Commission. The judge, on the other hand, found Mrs. Uwanore guilty on all the counts but requested to know from ICPC prosecutors Mr. Kabir Elelu and Mrs. Yvonne William Mbata as to whether she had any previous record of conviction. Responding, the prosecution team cleared her of any previous wrongdoing, prompting the convict's counsel, Mr. Chris Obiaka, to request the court to temper justice with mercy considering the health condition of his client, which was why she needed to travel to India. The judge then sentenced Mrs. Uwanore on each of 4 counts to 5 years imprisonment and 2 years on the 5th count, noting that punishments are given to ensure that Nigeria is a country with law-abiding citizens. The sentences are to run concurrently. Acting Chairman of ICPC, Dr. Musa Usman Abubakar, has disclosed the completion of arrangements for the creation of a visa fraud unit at the Lagos office of the Commission. Dr. Abubakar made this disclosure at the ICPC headquarters recently while making remarks during the 2018 send-off ceremony in honor of retirees of the Commission. He said the unit would be set up in collaboration with the British High Commission and would specifically tackle the visa scam cases being perpetrated by some unscrupulous Nigerians. It will be recalled that ICPC had successfully prosecuted numerous of such offenders. The acting chairman spoke about ICPC's activities in the year 2018 and listed some of its achievements to include the discovery of unremitted funds into the Treasury Single Account TSA by some government agencies, many convictions, system study of some NDAs, unveiling of report on corruption risk assessment on e-government platforms by the President, reduction in visa scam, among others. That will be all on this segment. Corruption Must Go continues with Hawa.
If you are just tuning in, this is Corruption Must Go. Section 88 of the Nigeria Constitution confers powers on the National Assembly to carry out oversight duties for the purpose of enthroning accountability, responsible governance, rule of law, and transparency in the management of the nation's resources. As part of that role to carry out oversight duties, the Senate Committee Chairman on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes, Distinguished Senator Chukwuka Utazi, paid a visit to the Commission to assess the level of performance of its budgetary allocation in 2018, to ascertain the Commission's challenges and identify areas of needs in order to ensure effective operations. While in the Commission, Senator Utazi gave some insights on the efforts the legislature is making to help strengthen the nation's anti-corruption agencies so as to successfully combat corruption.
So we have come to an end to this oversight meant for value for money, examination. We look at budget performance for 2018. We have looked at this and there are areas we have, all the areas where we have pinpointed, while the discussion lasted. I want all the follow-ups to these issues, provide such information to our office so that we process it.
After listening to the acting chairman of the commission, Dr. Musa Usman Abubakar, who presented the scorecard and some achievements of the commission in 2018, Senator Utazi promised to cause the Senate to expedite action on the proposed amendment of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000. He also promised to include an amendment in the proposal that would allow the Commission retain some percentage of its recoveries in order to strengthen the Commission financially.
This is part of the reason, part of the things we are going to do, amendment of the Act. Okay. Just like we are doing for EFCC, a retention of a certain percentage, so that you can do something. You see, so just note it, we are going to propose amendment, just like we are doing for EFCC. You have to get certain percentages so that you do your job. Let's say certain percentage you can do basic things, buy a vehicle. Why should vehicle be an issue of buying a vehicle? You can do a high purchase, pick up to 5 vehicles. Once you are generating income, you certain percentage you'll be paying. And you have the vehicles and you do your job. That's the way it should be done.
During the oversight visit, Senator Utazi, accompanied by ICPC acting chairman and some management staff, took a tour of the Commission's detention center, interrogation room, forensic laboratory and other facilities within the premises of the headquarters. After the tour, the Senate Committee Chairman, while expressing his support for the preventive strategy adopted by the Commission to curb corrupt practices and other related offences, encouraged the Commission to acquire its own private radio and television station for better publicity and enlightenment of the populace against corruption.
The role of the legislature in the fight against corruption is that the legislature operates through their various committees to make for the efficient performance of the duty of the legislature. In this case here, we have the Senate Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes. If you get to the House of Representatives, you have the House Committee on Financial Crimes and then Committee on Anti-Corruption. They have 2 there, but in the Senate we have 1. You know, and the duty of these committees is to ensure that we follow the laws laid down, the enacted laws guiding the operation of the anti-graft agencies. And I mean the 2000 Act of ICPC and the 2003 Act supplement of EFCC. And then new one, the Financial Intelligence Unit, that is now on its own. We'll look into the laws that establish these agencies and ensure through oversight that what is stipulated in those laws are actually what the agencies are doing. You know, through looking at their books, just like we have done here Oversight here. We have looked at the performance. This is what you said you are going to do, because budget is a statement of intention that is reduced to financial details of what you have to do from first month to the 12th month in a year. It's the duty of the oversight, the committees now, to come and check. You said this in your budget. Have you been able to do that? You look at your challenges where we can come in and make sure that you perform, because the essence of oversight is not to run down the agency. Is to strengthen the agency to perform the roles, the functions as stipulated in the law of the land, guiding them, so that you can get things done. And then we look for value for money. If we put a budget, we reduce everything in the financial year, that this is the amount of money you want for personnel costs. Look, this is what you look for the capital. It's our duty to come and check whether your output at the end of the day. That's why I said you should have your own television. How much does it take to have a television? How much does it take to have a radio by ICPC? Of their own. You know, you go in other countries, small countries there, you have traffic radio. You have this. How much does it take to do a radio? You know, last time the last budget cycle they came, I said, I told the FCC and all that to do their thing. They have to go and have their radio. You need to have a radio. If you don't have one, you join it. Two of you join together, have a television, radio house, where you will be discussing on daily basis. That is what UNCAC said. But here, we are chasing after cases that are already done, instead of the prevention. That's the main issue. You know, you don't prevent through your actions. No? So this is very, very important. These are the back of the issue we want to do here. The issue is prevention. You don't put the processes that put everybody on check, so that the people, in our usual natural self, we want to do the wrong thing. In human beings, natural self, you want to do the wrong thing. But because the law is there, because you put agencies there, because you know that a camera is looking at you there, we force you to behave well, even if you don't want to behave well. That's what you do. That's what is done. You travel all the countries where crime with. They have more crimes over there than even here. But they put cameras everywhere. Spend so much money on prevention. You know, some CCTV everywhere. Anybody who enters, you will know the number of vehicle, when he has entered and when he existed. You watch all those things. It's prevention. So that's what we want you to be doing. That's what all the anti-graft agencies. More time on this, not just blowing on the television, showing so much money that you've recovered, abusing the sensibilities of children.
NEPAD under the African Union, New Partnership for Africa's Development, is an organ of African Union. And in Nigeria, we have launched the Violence-Free Election Sensitization Program in partnership with anti-corruption agencies. And one message we are sending out is shun violence, shun vote buying, and vote wisely.
Hello viewers. Today we are going to talk about yet another offense created under the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000. We're going to be looking at the offense of use of office or position to confer corrupt advantage created under Section 19 of the ICPC Act. Now, what do we mean by this? Generally in this country, people have the belief that it is where we work that we're entitled to eat. Some people have gone to the extent of describing the workplace as a work shop. Section 19 of the ICPC Act makes it an offense for anybody, particularly public officers, to want to use their office or their position to corner all the advantages, to corner all the benefits, either for themselves or for members of their family or their friends and other associates, or even other public officers. At ICPC, we have seen situations where some chief executives who have the responsibility or who have the power to award contracts or to offer employment or even promotion in some instances decide to favor only people from their own family, from their own ethnic group, or especially members of their family. We've seen instances with wives, we've seen instances with husbands, we have also seen instances with even children. ICPC has investigated and has prosecuted so many people for this, and some of them are now in jail. The purpose of this act is to make opportunities available to every citizen of this country equally and fairly, and it is wrong for any one person to seek to corner all the advantages to himself or herself alone. Let us therefore resolve to help Nigeria to do away with instances of abuse of office and corruption in public office. Do be careful, please. Nigeria needs you. Thank you.
Corruption not in my country.
So, now, straight to business.
Good.
Now, that case between States versus Femi Wole.
Femi Wole.
Yes.
Is he your son?
That's my heir apparent.
Did he actually kill the wife?
His juvenile delinquency, they must have taken some few bottles.
A man of 40. Juvenile delinquent?
Now, what do we do? I don't want him to go to jail.
We are very good friends. But for this, I cannot help you.
You know I was so nice to you in school. I took care of you.
I'll politely leave.
No, you can't leave. How much do you want me to pay?
Wale, this is not about money. It's about the law. Bribing a judge to subvert the cause of justice is corruption, not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
The role of the parliament in the fight against corruption is absolutely central to the successful campaign against corruption. It is hopeful that the visit of the Senate Committee Chairman to ICPC will help to address challenges facing the Commission and strengthen its operations. That's our package on this week's edition. You can make reports, suggestions, and inquiries via our toll-free numbers as shown on the screen. You can also watch the program on our YouTube channel www.youtube.com/ICPC Nigeria. Thank you for watching. See you again next week.